Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Ailey. Today's video is going to be the final video in the Vault Collection series. So yep, there's been a lot going on about this palette, some good, some bad, and I'm going to let you know my thoughts on it. I've done an individual video on each palette so that you can see exactly how it performs on the eyes, exactly how it swatches, and you can see sort of that palette individually, especially if you don't have all of the palettes and you just wanted to see one. So they will periodically be linked up here in this video. If you want to check any of them out, please feel free. I would suggest you start with the first one, which was the Armed and Gorgeous palette. That'll be up here right now for you. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, so let's just get started. Okay, so I don't actually have the outer box, which was a wee bit stupid of me. I was doing a load of recycling and I must have thrown it out. But I do have, obviously, its box that it comes in here. So it's like this. All of the palettes are in here like almost like little books. It's got the little ribbon to pull it out, and you get all of this for £49. I think it's $49 as well. So you get it all sort of in this neat little bundle, which is really nice to sort of sit on your vanity or whatever. It's quite tidy. You're not having to find a home for like 4 new palettes. It comes with this little box and they stay away, tucked away really nice and safe. So you do get, mine are probably really dirty right now because I've been doing loads of swatches and stuff like that with them, but you get 4 palettes in the collection. Individually, these are £15, they're $15 in the US, and you get 10 shadows in each palette. So I'm just gonna, I've kind of got them in no specific order here. I'm gonna run through them. I'm gonna try and make this video not an eternity long, but I want to try and give you my proper thoughts on them. So I'm starting it off with Bling Boss because that's on the top here. I love the packaging of these. I had heard that there were rumours about a lawsuit between Morphe and Becca, but I have no idea what's going on with that, so I'm not going to really comment on it. The packaging is really smart. I really like it. I think that it's really cute. I do like the white packaging, but it gets so dirty. I mean, mine is manky already basically, but if you do sort of like keep an eye on them and keep them clean and stuff like that, they are relatively easy to keep clean because they are glossy. So you get obviously your little individual palettes like this. This one, like I said, is Bling Boss, and this is the purple palette. If you want to see a comparison between all of these palettes and the original palette, I'll link it up here for you. I did sort of swatches just to see what colours were similar, how the formula was similar, stuff like that. So I have used most of the shades in this palette and I don't find them too bad. They do blend out reasonably well. They're not as pigmented as some of the other ones. The shimmers in here perform beautifully. They don't really need much of a base down at all, but it will obviously help. This shade here, which is called Berry Treasure, if you're going to apply it and want the kind of shift, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a gold pink shift in it of glitter. It is a matte shade with glitter in it. So if you want that glitter to show up on your eyelid, you really do need to apply it with your finger. It's as simple as that. It's not one of these ones that picks up with a brush because it is a matte shade and it's just got the glitter in it. You really do want to be putting it onto like a sticky base. So if you're going to do a really smoky eye, I would say put down your base and apply that with your fingertip, and then be careful if you're blending other shadows around it. If you're going to do that, build it up again. So it's a little bit tricky, but it is a beautiful, beautiful shade. Gem is another beautiful shade. I really like this one. It's like Royalty from her original palette, but it's just way, way, way more vibrant. Overall, I do really like this palette. I find it's not too difficult to work with. Purples aren't really my thing, and yes, I know I laughed in my video when I reviewed this one because I obviously have purple hair, but purples in eyeshadows are something that I normally stay away from for some reason. I do love the look, and I'll put it up here for you so you can see it. I love the look that I created with it. I think it was a really beautiful look. I'll put the swatches on the screen for you as well so you can see. I'll just pull them from my other video. It swatches, all of these palettes swatch horribly. If I swatched this in a shop, I wouldn't buy it. As simple as that. Unless I really, really like the shimmer shades because they swatch brilliantly. But the matte swatch like shit. It doesn't do the collection justice at all. So I obviously ordered this online. You can't get it in stores in the UK, so I was none the wiser. I didn't really know. So yeah, I do really like this palette, but again, it's not one that I can see that I'll reach for a massive amount. I don't know. I think that my mum would love it because she's a purple fiend. Next we have Ring the Alarm, and this one I just did the most recent video on. The eye look that I've got on just now is from this palette, and this palette is a really, really warm toned palette. I really like this one. It is pretty easy to work with. The shimmers apply really nicely but need a base. They don't really go over a matte shadow really nicely at all, but when you put a base down like concealer or a primer, they go on really nicely. The mattes are really pigmented. You only really need to tap into them. It does make a mess of the palette, as you can probably see. The palette does get a wee bit grimy and grotty, but you don't really need an awful lot. Just tap your brush in a couple of times and build up the colour slowly, but the colours are beautiful. They blend. They're a little bit hard to blend, but not impossible, and I've noticed that a lot of people I'm seeing that are blending, and some bits are blending away, some bits are getting darker. I didn't find that problem. I found that they blended smoothly. It just took a wee bit more to get a nice smooth blend out of them. So I do like this palette, but it's probably not my favourite. I would say this one's definitely sort of in third place. Next is the Dark Magic palette. This one is the bluey green palette. I absolutely adore this palette. It's a little bit tricky to work with. The shimmers in here actually go on without a base. I'm not too sure about Trickery. It's a little bit, you know, you would probably be better with a base with that one. I absolutely love this shade. It's the most tricky to work with, I would say. But this shade and this shade are just beautiful as well. I really like these shades. They are really deep shades. They are really pigmented shades. So you have to build them up slowly. You have to be careful with them. You have to watch which ones you're mixing because they can go muddy. So with a little bit of trial and error, this is a fantastic palette, but this is definitely like my second place. And I didn't even realise until now, but basically I'm going from like fourth place down to like first place. I didn't intend to do that at all, but yeah. This one definitely takes second place for me. I love this one. Like I said, with the other palettes, I'll put the look that I did up here for you, and I'll put the swatches on the screen for you as well so you can see what they look like. But I do really like this palette. I think that it would definitely be worth your £15 if you wanted one or two palettes from the collection. I definitely recommend this one. The shades in it are just really nice as well. It's not something that you see every day. And then the big old first place winner is Armed and Gorgeous. This is just my favourite palette. I absolutely love this palette. I'll put the look that I did with it over here for you, and I'll put the swatches on the screen. Same thing again, the swatches didn't come out great, but the shimmers, all but classified, are stunning. You don't need a base with them. They go over the top of like a kind of lighter powder shadow or a setting powder so nicely. They layer up really well. They go on really smooth. The shades in here are just beautiful. Top Secret is just the most stunning green shade ever. And yeah, this definitely gets my first place. So if I was going to recommend to you and you had sort of a similar taste in shadows to me, I would recommend the Armed and Gorgeous palette. I would say it performs the best out of all of them, and it's got the nicest colours, but that's personal preference. And yeah, it's the easiest to blend, it's the easiest to work with. It's just, I absolutely adore this palette. So definitely worth your £15. So there's a few things that I wanted to tell you about the palettes and about different shades. I've written a couple of things down. So greens and the blues can get a patchy if you apply them all over. So I've seen a couple of swatch videos of people swatching like eye swatches of the whatever colours. So they'll put it all over their lid and then blend it out on the edges. Now if you pack this all over your lid for a really intense colour payoff and then start swiping at it, it's a total disaster. But as well, if you take too much and it does actually work for you, it can blend out and 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 out. It just stretches and it stretches. I was having it way up to my eyebrow and I had to actually wipe some of it off when I was trying it out. It didn't really work very well at all. So with the dark shades, especially in the Dark Magic palette, like these shades here, I would say go very light-handed and build up and build up and build up. So do your sort of blend first and then bring kind of the most intense of the colour onto your lid if that's what you want to do. The other thing that I would say is the shimmer shades. Now, I didn't notice it so much with Armed and Gorgeous, but with all of the other palettes, when I do, say, I don't know, a halo eye or something like that, I do all of my sort of crease work and all of the shades on the outside first, and I leave a sort of gap in the middle. Then I apply whatever shimmer I'm going to put on. Now, I did find that with some of the shimmer shades that would apply like beautifully in the very middle, would struggle to grab on the little bits of the matte shadows. So it would be fine on top of like whatever I'd use to set my concealer or my primer down, but once it went on top of the mattes from these palettes, it wouldn't stick, and that's when you would need a base. So I know a lot of people have noticed that they don't go on very well. I did notice that as well, but when it's over just a sort of set base, I don't know why that happens, because I always set my base with powder, so it's not like it's a sticky base and then there's matte shadow on it. It is just a matte shadow base. It's just that when you put these shadows down, they don't stick to it, which I find is a little bit weird, but that's just something to sort of be aware of. When you're laying down the shimmers, they lay down beautifully, but they don't on top of the matte shades in the collection. I think that may be it. I'm trying to think what else I'd like to say in this video. I don't think there's really that much else to say about it. I think that these palettes are working for some people, they're not working for others. They did work for me. Yes, they are a little bit more difficult to blend. Yes, they can be a little bit patchy, but for the colours and that's in them, they're so nice and so different. I would say that my top two are definitely Armed and Gorgeous and Dark Magic. There's a lot of kind of similar colours in these two from her original palette and from other palettes, so I think that you can sort of scrutinise them a little bit more. I think that's pretty much my thoughts on it all. There are a couple of shadows I would say that are missing. I would say I would like some shades in between some of the shades, you know, like maybe like a lighter green or a lighter blue, or you know, a couple of things just to make blending a little bit easier. But apart from that, I am glad that I spent the money on these palettes. I don't think it was wasted money. I think that it was money well spent, and I have really enjoyed playing with them so far, and I will be enjoying playing with them in the future. Obviously, if you have a really patchy palette, I would say get on at them and tell them that you're not happy, because I have seen that they're replying to people on Twitter. I'd say Twitter is probably the best place to get hold of them, but I think that they are kind of more than happy to replace or refund people who aren't happy with the palette, because at the end of the day, it's really down to personal preference whether or not you're going to like them. The good version, I know that I have seen some that really do just look really bad quality, so hopefully they'll sort that out. They are restocking on the 28th, which is in a couple of days time, so hopefully everybody that orders from that launch will get the updated version and they'll be happy with their palettes. So yeah, let me know what you think though. Have you got any of these palettes? Have you got the collection? How have yours performed? Are they swatching really terribly and working well like mine are? Are they swatching really well? Are they just really, really good? Are they really, really bad? Let me know in the comment section below, because I would love to hear, because obviously when you get something and it works really well, it's kind of hard to imagine it not working, and vice versa. When you get it and it doesn't work, it's kind of hard to think about it actually working. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now for real this time, and if you enjoyed this video, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I do post videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!